Great. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's Megan Twentyman, Brand Manager here at Soft Solutions, and I've got Matt Carey, our Senior Engineer.
Hello.
Excuse my voice, I'm actually out sick, but have dialed in to do this webinar. I'll try not to cough my way through it. So I'm going to let Matt guide us through the mobile clients. There's a lot of development being done around the mobile clients at present. The iOS is available, the Android is in beta and will be released shortly. So Matt's just going to look at the new functionality that's been added into those mobile clients, and I'll hand over to Matt.
Awesome, thanks Megan. Welcome everyone and thanks for joining again today. We're just going to have a nice quick one and we'll get to lunch a little bit earlier. So we'll be looking at the mobile clients, and the reason I thought to have a look at this is, firstly, we actually haven't done a webinar around the mobile apps before, and 3CX has been putting quite a lot of development into them. So I thought we'd have a quick look at a general overview and also some of the changes. Interestingly enough, or coincidentally enough maybe, I was actually in a meeting this morning, and one of the key requirements was having functional working mobile apps that actually work properly 100% of the time. So 3CX is a very good fit. But anyway, they are available for Android and iOS. For Android, it's on the Google Play Store. iOS, it's on the Apple App Store. So it's as simple as just installing it and then giving it the provisioning file. It does use mobile phone data, so it isn't GSM. It is on a data plan, but as most plans these days come with quite a lot, it's not really such an issue because of the compression and the codecs that 3CX uses. It doesn't use a lot of data, and it really does provide that additional flexibility and mobility as well. You can be at your desk from basically anywhere in the country or the world even. When we travel overseas at Softsol, a lot of the time we just get hotel or motel Wi-Fi or just a low data SIM, and then we're basically at our desks. So it's very, very cool. Setup is really simple. 3CX, of course, has the welcome email that you send to an extension to set up a soft phone. It's the same email works with the mobile app as well. So typically what I do is, especially for customer demos, when I have to spin up an app on the fly to show people, it just forward the email, forward the welcome email to my mobile and off it goes. It's as simple as opening the attachment, which will prompt the 3CX app on both Android and iOS, and basically it's all set up. Also, you can set this up via QR code, which comes in the welcome email as well, and also from within the management console now. So that was a recent update. The QR code via email came first, and with one of the latest updates, it's actually within the management console too now on the extensions page. Now, notably, for the app to work, your 3CX install does need a third-party SSL. Now, for 99% of users, this is already the case, because especially with split DNS set up, you want your FQDN to have a proper SSL certificate. They're not expensive. SSLs.com has a $5 cert for a year, so really, really simple. And of course, if you're using a 3CX certificate as well, that of course is third-party signed by Let's Encrypt, so that will work as well. The mobile apps as well can use port 5090, which is the 3CX tunnel port that allows for encryption and encapsulation as well. And the benefit of this is, if, depending on the provider, some, given the IPv4 allocations out there, using carrier grade NAT, and sometimes this can cause issues with voice RTP, so one-way audio or no-way audio, and also some providers lock down 5060 or block it on their data plans, and this gets around that as well, which is really cool. Push notifications are a big thing, and the last slide I'll be going through is a blog article link. So 3CX supports Apple Push and Google Push and Google Firebase Push. Now, push is important because if the 3CX soft phone was running the whole time on your device, it would chew up the battery pretty quickly. And as phones still continue to get thinner, typically battery sizes and battery technology hasn't quite gotten to that point where we're getting multi-day life. And so this allows for the application to hibernate. Google Push, Apple Push, they'll send a notification to the phone. When the extension is ringing, it wakes up the app and it rings on the phone. So very good for battery as well. And of course, it's simple to use. We generally jest when we show off the client because it basically looks the same as the Windows client. I don't think we'll probably be able to make that joke anymore because there have been some UI changes. So looking at the iOS app, I touched on IPv4. So IPv6 is being deployed by a lot of people now. IPv6, we all know what it is. It's the new way of IP addressing. It is handy because it removes the requirement for a lot of carriers to use carrier grade NAT with IPv4. So it's very handy. The iOS app also has a new redesigned user interface, and of course this version of the app is live currently, so definitely recommend checking it out. I've doubled up on my IPv6 comments here, so I apologize. But something that's really cool, and again, I read a blog post recently about keeping 3CX up to date, is from the mobile clients now, you can actually engage with the click to talk and click to chat with your website, which is really cool. So the big thing around those two technologies is when someone goes to your website, if they browse and leave, that's a hugely lost opportunity. So you can get instant engagement with this person that's browsing and can dramatically increase whether it's sales or support and the efficiency of them. You can also attach documents now as well. Now, this is mostly the same with the Android app, which is now in beta. Typically, the Apple apps get the new features first, but 3CX are very fast to update. So the Android one typically doesn't trail terribly far behind. So mostly the same. It's definitely feature parity. It's got the security in there with end-to-end encryption for calls now, which I find quite exciting, being a bit of a security nut. But the big thing here is it's got Wi-Fi to 4G failover. So if you're sitting in an office or in a hotel and you've got a call and you're connected to Wi-Fi, when you walk away from that access point or get out of range, it won't drop the call. It'll seamlessly cross across to your mobile data connection, which is very, very cool. Hopefully we'll see this in the iOS edition at some point, but this is a commonly asked question when we're doing a lot of pre-sales work, saying if I use the app and walk away, will it drop? And we can see now it definitely does not, which is really cool. 3CX, they update their blog quite a lot, as do we, so I strongly recommend checking out our blog. I write a couple of articles every month around pertinent topics. So on the 3CX blog as well, they frequently release articles. These can be around if they see an issue that's been popping up in support quite often, then they'll generally put an article around it. This article on screen here, so you can find it at 3cx.com/blog, and it's near the top at the moment because it's pretty recent, but they've detailed some of the intricacies around push and how to get it working, because it can be a little confusing, especially with Android push, because it requires a Google developer account, which of course is free to sign up, but it does explain a lot of how the technology works and takes a lot of the mystery out of it. So I strongly recommend checking that out. And that's it. That's the mobile clients. Is there anything you'd like to add, Megan?
So I'm just going to jump in there. One key thing about the mobile apps is You must have a current subscription if you're working on an annual subscription pricing model, or current maintenance with a perpetual license. So if you've got a perpetual license and the maintenance has dropped, the apps are one of the first things they cut away as no longer being available. So a current subscription for the annual subscription model includes the free standard edition at 8 simultaneous calls for version 16 or 4 simultaneous calls for the old 15.5 version. But the key thing here is around perpetual licenses. If your maintenance has expired, the web clients are not available. So that, you can imagine, is a major if the maintenance is not renewed and everybody's mobile device clients go offline. So really important to make sure that that maintenance is up to date on a perpetual license.
Awesome, thanks, Megan.
So have we got any questions from anybody? Is there anything that anybody would like to ask about the web client? Web client, you can tell I'm sick, I've got it on the brain, on the mobile apps, iOS or Android, or if there's any other general 3CX queries that you think we might be able to help you with right now, please feel free to sing out.
Yeah, so we've got a question, what about with the free standard license after 1 year?
So the free standard license at 8 simultaneous calls for version 16, whilst it does a countdown for the 1 year, it auto renews, so it never actually runs out. It is considered a current license at all times. So it'll count down 365 days, and then the next day you look and hey presto, we're back to 365 days. That is as at now. You know, we have no inkling that 3CX will make any changes to that. In fact, when we went from version 15.5 to 16, they increased the number of simultaneous calls on that free standard license. My best guess, based on where 3CX are going, and this is a guess, I'm not speaking on behalf of 3CX, is that they will continue to differentiate between the 3 editions. So standard will have that lesser feature set, and professional and enterprise will continue to be beefed up with new features. And we're seeing that in every update pack or service pack that comes out as well. So even in update 3 for alpha, we're seeing those extra features being added into professional and enterprise edition.
Excellent, I think that's about it.
No more questions?
No.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. I know it was short and sweet, but as I mentioned on Monday when we did our other webinar, we're trying to do a couple of webinars every month just on a very specific topic, cover that off in a short time frame. If you do have any queries, you can reach out to Matt or myself directly, or use the voip@softsoul.co.nz email. As I said at the beginning, I'm actually out on sick leave, but believe it or not, I'm still checking my emails and trying to get queries moving because I hate customers sitting waiting. It's a pet peeve of mine when you find out someone's been off sick for 3 days and it's just sat waiting for somebody to come back. So I am trying to push everything through. But right now I'm going to go and have a rest. Thank you for joining us,
Thank you.
and keep an eye on the VoIP update emails and the weekly emails for the next set of webinars. We do have our technical training coming up in Palmerston North at the end of September as well. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you. See you next time.